Most people live under a quiet tyranny, not political tyranny, but personal tyranny. They allow toxic people like angry bosses, manipulative partners, negative friends, and negative family members to sabotage their lives from the inside. These toxic individuals don't attack with fists or guns, but with a slow, relentless emotional erosion. They undermine your confidence, flood your mind with negativity, and infect your habits and beliefs with their poison. If you don't know how to deal with toxic people, you don't just suffer their behavior. You become a diluted version of yourself, weaker, angrier, more fearful, and less alive. Today we end that. Today you learn exactly how to handle difficult and toxic people without losing your soul, your focus, or your future. Step 1 is to understand that you are a sponge. You absorb the energy of the people around you. Period. It doesn't matter how strong you think you are, how much self-help you've read, or how much positivity you try to maintain. If you live in a toxic environment, you will absorb it. It will bleed into your thoughts, corrode your standards, and warp your vision of what's normal and possible. You are not immune. No one is. Your mind, your emotions, even your nervous system are shaped by the people you allow near you. This isn't weakness. It's biology. It's psychology. Pretending you're immune is how toxicity sits in unnoticed until it's too late. Step 2 is recognizing the spectrum of toxicity. Not all toxic people look the same. Some are obvious, others are disguised. Here's the spectrum you must recognize. Mildly toxic people who are always negative, always skeptical, always playing the victim. Moderately toxic individuals who are passive-aggressive, who subtly undermine your confidence and feed your doubts. And severely toxic people who are manipulative, controlling, violent, addicted, or even criminal. The worse the toxicity, the more urgently action is required. But remember, even mild toxicity, when tolerated over time, can rot your ambition, your peace, your life. Don't minimize it, don't excuse it, don't pretend it's not that bad. Negativity compounds, pessimism metastasizes, and drama spreads like wildfire. You owe yourself clarity and honesty. Someone consistently makes you smaller, weaker, angrier, or sadder. They are toxic to your life, no matter who they are, what excuses they offer, or how long you've known them. Step 3 is knowing the top toxic categories to watch out for. Toxic people hide everywhere, but there are key zones where you must be especially vigilant. First, bosses, co-workers, and business partners. Toxicity at work infects your entire day, draining your energy before you even get home, and making growth almost impossible. Next, friends. What you call friendship might actually be trauma bonding. Look carefully. Are these friends lifting you or drowning you? Then, intimate partners. This is the most dangerous category because emotional closeness amplifies the toxicity. A toxic romantic partner can sabotage you faster than any enemy. Finally, family. Often the hardest to cut ties with, the most prone to emotional manipulation, and the most normalized toxicity, simply because you grew up within it. Understand this clearly. No relationship, no matter how sacred it seems, is worth the death of your potential. If someone poisons your mind, erodes your soul, or drags you back into darkness, they must either change or lose access to you. Step 4 is recognizing the hidden types of toxic people clearly. Toxicity isn't always explosive. Often it's quiet, subtle, or even disguised as well-meaning. There are 4 hidden types you must see for what they truly are. First is the depressed anchor. This isn't someone simply experiencing temporary sadness. We all have dark seasons. Instead, it's the person who permanently lives in defeat, believing nothing will ever work, everything is rigged, and hope is naive. Every time you share a dream, they sigh, tell you why it's impossible, and warn you about certain failure. They think they're being realistic, but in reality they are dragging you down into the swamp of hopelessness with them. If you don't create some distance, you'll inevitably start believing the world is just as bleak as they describe. The second hidden type is the drama magnet. Some people genuinely need chaos to feel alive. They're always in a fight, always in crisis, always finding someone new to blame. If you spend too much time with them, you become part of their never-ending theater, wasting emotional energy on problems that aren't even yours. Drama is addictive, and once you're hooked on someone else's chaos, you'll stop building your own peace and stability. The third hidden type is the limiting belief factory. These people seem harmless at first. They smile, joke, and genuinely mean well, but their entire way of communicating is drenched in limitation. They'll say things like, "It's too late to change," "People like us can't win," or "Dreams are for lucky people, not us." They're not evil, just programmed to think small. However, if you expose yourself to this programming long enough, their limitations can yours. Their ceilings become your ceilings, their fears become your fears, and soon you'll find yourself believing you can't achieve more. The fourth hidden type is the addicted vampire. Addiction destroys more than just the addict, it destroys everyone in their orbit. Staying close to someone trapped in addiction, whether it's alcohol, drugs, gambling, sex, or even dopamine from constant distractions, means their instability becomes your instability. You can love them, wish them well, and genuinely care for them, but you cannot allow them to dictate your emotional reality. You can't fix their addiction by sacrificing yourself. Step 5 is setting ruthless emotional clarity. Before making any outward moves, you must first achieve internal clarity. You have to answer 3 critical questions with brutal honesty. Who consistently drains your energy? Who consistently infects you with doubt, anger, or fear? Who consistently keeps you small when you're trying to grow? Remember, their intentions don't matter. Only their impact does. Some people genuinely mean well yet still poison your spirit. Some people love you deeply yet still destroy you emotionally. It takes courage to see this clearly. Always prioritize impact over intention, results over excuses, and truth over comfort. Until you are willing to face who is poisoning your personal garden, you will never truly begin the process of cleaning it. Step 6 is preparing for separation. Once you've identified toxic people, the instinct is often either to confront them emotionally or to flee impulsively. Both are mistakes. This isn't about creating drama, emotional explosions, or proving you're right. This is about self-protection, quiet, strategic, and clean. Preparation starts internally. Lower your emotional dependence on these people, stop seeking their approval, and anticipate that they list if you resist, guilt trip, or lash out. Accept that you owe them nothing except your own survival and well-being. Once you've mentally prepared yourself, the actual act of separation becomes simpler. Not necessarily painless, but clear. You've already made your decision, fortified your mind, and chosen yourself. The conversation, or perhaps the gradual withdrawal, is simply the final step. Step 7 is executing the separation itself. There are 2 primary ways to separate from toxic people. The hard cut, which is immediate and total removal, or the soft withdrawal, a more gradual distancing without confrontation. The choice depends on the situation you're in. If the person is abusive, manipulative, addicted, or dangerous, the hard cut is necessary. If the person is mildly toxic but not actively harmful, a soft withdrawal will usually suffice. A hard cut means taking direct actions like blocking phone numbers, deleting contacts, moving out, cutting financial ties, and enforcing absolute no connect if needed. It's decisive, quick, and completely removes their access to your life. A soft withdrawal is subtler. It involves reducing the amount of time you spend together, politely declining invitations, gently changing topics when conversations become toxic, and investing your emotional energy elsewhere until the connection naturally withers away. Whichever approach you choose, there are clear rules for separation. No long explanations, no drama-filled battles, no attempts to convince them why you're doing it, and no hope that they'll understand your reasons. Remember, you're not separating for their approval, you're separating for your future. Make your move clean, make it final. Move in silence if needed, but make sure you move. Step 8 is building the emotional firewall. Separation isn't just about physical distance, it's about establishing a psychological barrier against manipulation and guilt. Toxic people often try tactics like guilt-tripping you, gaslighting you, playing the victim, or attempting to draw you back into their drama. You must prepare yourself to withstand this. The first practice in building your emotional firewall is refusing to engage with their manipulation. When they try to guilt you with phrases like, "I thought we were family," or "I guess you don't care anymore," remain stone-faced. No arguments, no explanations, no apologies. The second practice is adopting a mantra of sovereignty, a powerful sentence you can repeat in your mind whenever you feel pulled back into the toxic connection. Examples include, I choose my peace over their approval. I owe loyalty only to my highest self, or my future is worth more than their comfort. Third, surround yourself with strength. Fill the vacuum created by separation with empowering people, uplifting content, and supportive environments. You can't fight loneliness with willpower alone. Instead, actively replace weakness with strength and poison with fuel. Finally, expect emotional whiplash. Some days you'll feel guilty, other days you'll second-guess your decisions or even miss aspects of the toxic relationship. This is normal, it's part of detoxing. It doesn't mean you've made a mistake, it means you are healing. Stay the course. Step 9 is avoiding the re-entry trap. The most dangerous moment isn't the separation itself, it's the temptation to reopen the door later on. You might get nostalgic, remembering only the good times. You might feel lonely and think about giving them another chance. Before you know it, you're back inside the toxic cycle, refusing years, trying to fix something that refuses to heal. Here's the golden rule. Once you close the door, it stays closed. No matter what they promise, no matter how much they cry, and no matter how deeply you miss the version of them that never really existed. People rarely change without sustained massive effort, and most toxic individuals simply aren't willing to do that hard inner work. They don't genuinely want to heal, they just want their emotional punching bag back. They want the old dynamic, the easy control, the familiar pain. Don't fall for it. Freedom is costly, valuable and precious. Don't waste it by allowing yourself even one more sip of poison.